All right, Commanders family, let's dive in. We all know this team is working relentlessly to get better every single day. Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are pushing this roster to sharpen, improve, and fight for the results that we, as fans, have been waiting for. But right now, the Commanders are facing a moment of uncertainty that has everyone in the fan base holding their breath. Before we break it down, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. It really helps support Commanders HQ and keeps our coverage strong. Now, let's talk about the big headline, Jayden Daniels' health. The Commanders' offense runs through Jayden Daniels. That's just the truth. When he's healthy and playing at his best, he makes this team tick. So when news surfaced that Daniels had suffered a knee injury during Thursday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers, alarm bells immediately went off. Reports from insiders say the injury is a sprain, not a long-term issue, which is good news, but his status for Week 3 against the Las Vegas Raiders is now in serious doubt. And fans, let's be honest, that matchup just got a whole lot scarier. The Raiders' defense is no joke, especially with Max Crosby, one of the league's most relentless pass rushers, lining up across from Washington's offensive line. Without Daniels at full strength, this offense looks very different. Head coach Dan Quinn's addressed the media for the first time since the Packers game, and in classic Quinn fashion, he didn't reveal much. He confirmed that Daniels had an MRI, he described the quarterback as day-to-day, and he made it clear that no decision would be rushed. He said, "I know there will be lots of questions about our QB, but here's what I know. He had an MRI and is truly day-to-day. What does that mean for Sunday? I can't tell you that now. We'll have more Wednesday." That's Quinn's way of saying, let's see how he responds when practice begins. The medical staff and coaching staff want to see Daniels test his strength, mobility, and change of direction. If he can't do that at full speed, he won't play. That might frustrate fans eager for clarity, but it's absolutely the right call. Washington cannot risk its franchise quarterback's long-term health for one regular season game. Now, this brings us to the big question. If Daniels can't go, what happens? The Commanders signed Marcus Mariota this offseason precisely for this type of situation. Mariota isn't Daniels, but he's mobile, he's experienced, and he can keep the offense afloat in the short term. Still, Cliff Kingsbury's offensive system is tailored to Daniels' dual threat abilities. Removing that dynamic playmaking from the lineup changes everything. You don't call plays the same way for Mariota that you do for Daniels, and it's no secret defenses will breathe the sigh of relief if number 5 isn't out there. That's why this is such a big story. Daniels isn't just another piece of the puzzle, he is the puzzle. And fans, let's not forget, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Washington has already been crushed by the injury bug. Austin Eckler, the veteran running back brought in to stabilize the backfield, is done for the season after tearing his Achilles. That move alone changes the entire complexion of the running game. To patch that hole, the Commanders are adding veteran running back Chase Edmonds to the practice squad. Now, Edmonds is 29, with years of NFL experience, most recently with the Buccaneers. He's not a superstar, but he's steady, reliable, and exactly the type of insurance policy you want in a backfield that's suddenly thin. Add to that the losses of Dietrich Wise on the defensive line, plus injuries to Noah Brown and John Bates, and you see why this team feels like it's being tested early. Depth is already being stretched, and we're only in Week 3. So let's zoom out for a moment. Daniels was drafted number 2 overall to be the face of this franchise. His rookie year proved he could handle the spotlight, and now the expectations are even higher. The hope was that 2025 would be the year he truly entered that Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes tier of quarterbacks, the type of player who simply elevates everyone around him. But injuries have a way of disrupting even the best-laid plans. If Daniels misses time, it's not just about one game. It's about chemistry with Terry McLaurin, with Deebo Samuel, with the rest of this offense. It's about the momentum the team is trying to build early in the season. Dan Quinn has been clear the team will not risk Daniels unless he looks like himself in practice. That's the smart move. But it's also the scary part, because if Daniels isn't right, Washington's entire season outlook shifts. You can feel the tension in the fan base right now. Every tweet, every insider report, every rumor is being dissected. Is Daniels fine? Will he play Sunday? Is this going to linger? These are the questions Commanders Nation is asking, and they're valid. This isn't just any player. This is the guy the entire rebuild has been built around. Daniels' health is Washington's season. Plain and simple. We've got to start with the bad news. The reports we heard over the weekend are now confirmed. Austin Eckler suffered a torn Achilles, and Dietrich Wise went down with a serious calf injury. Both players have officially been placed on injured reserve, meaning their seasons are over. Let's be real here, Commanders fans. This is a major blow. Eckler was brought in to be the savvy veteran presence in the backfield, a perfect complement to our young runners like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Chris Rodriguez. Now, not only does Washington lose that experience, but Eckler's career in D.C. might already be finished before it really got going. As for Wise, his injury hurts as much. He wasn't just another body on the defensive line, he brought leadership, toughness, and the ability to rotate in and keep pressure on quarterbacks. Losing both of these guys in the same game is a gut punch. But here's the thing. In football, as in life, when one door closes, another opens. And this Commanders front office wasted no time responding. To fill those roster spots, Washington announced 2 additions to the 53-man roster, defensive end Jalen Holmes and wide receiver Chris Moore. Now, Holmes isn't a stranger. He actually joined Washington last October and made a real impact down the stretch, playing in 11 regular season games and 3 playoff matchups. He recorded 2 sacks and 17 tackles while being part of the rotation up front. Holmes knows this system, he knows this locker room, and now he's being asked to step right back in and provide that depth and stability on the defensive line after Wise's injury. On the offensive side, the Commanders are also bringing back wide receiver Chris Moore. Now, Moore has been floating around the practice squad since late 2024. He flashed during offseason practices and training camp, but couldn't quite stick on the 53-man roster after preseason. But here's the thing. Washington went into this season with only 5 receivers, which is unusually thin for today's NFL. Adding Moore back into the mix gives Cliff Kingsbury one more option to work with.
And let's not forget, Moore already made a play this year. He was elevated for the season opener against the Giants. And what did he do? He hauled in a 34-yard catch. That's exactly the type of spark you want from a depth guy. He's not going to replace Terry McLaurin or Deebo Samuel, but he gives this team insurance and another weapon if injuries hit the wideout group. Now, here's what might surprise some fans. Despite losing Eckler for the season, the Commanders did not sign another running back to the active roster. And the reasoning is simple. They already had 4 backs on the 53-man roster. Remember, Chris Rodriguez Jr. has been a healthy scratch the first 2 games. That changes now. Rodriguez will be activated moving forward, stepping into the role vacated by Eckler. Between him, rookie sensation Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and veteran Jeremy McNichols, Washington believes they have enough depth to weather the storm. But the team did add a running back to the practice squad, and it's a name some of you might know, Chase Edmonds. Edmonds, at 29 years old, is a veteran of this league. Drafted in the 4th round back in 2018 by the Cardinals, he spent several seasons under Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. That connection is important because Kingsbury already knows what Edmonds brings, a shifty, versatile back who can contribute as a runner and a pass catcher. After Arizona, Edmonds bounced around, spent time with the Dolphins, Broncos, and most recently the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, he missed all last season with a knee injury. So now, this is essentially a second chance, a fresh start for him in Washington. So let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture here. Losing both Eckler and Wise hurts, but the Commanders' response shows 2 things. They trust their young talent. Instead of panicking and signing another veteran running back to the 53, they're giving Krosky-Merritt and Rodriguez the green light to prove themselves. And they're prepared. Adding Holmes and Moore fills real needs immediately, while signing Edmonds to the practice squad gives them flexibility if things start to unravel. This is how a smart front office operates, Commanders fans. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are balancing short-term needs with long-term vision. They're not just throwing darts at free agency or making desperate moves. They're thinking strategically about how each roster spot fits into the puzzle. So, Commanders fans, here's where we stand. Jayden Daniels has a sprained knee. It doesn't look like a long-term issue, but his status for Week 3 against the Raiders is up in the air. Dan Quinn is playing it safe, as he should, and we'll know more as practices begin this week. Meanwhile, the team continues to patch holes elsewhere, signing Chase Edmonds to bolster a backfield already devastated by injuries. This is what makes football such a roller coaster. In just a matter of days, the narrative around a team can change completely. From optimism to anxiety, from celebration to concern. We're living it right now as Commanders fans. But here's the question I want to throw to you. Should Washington let Daniels sit and fully recover, even if it means possibly dropping a game to the Raiders? Or should they push to get him on the field as soon as possible, knowing how crucial every win is in the season with playoff hopes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading every one. And don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe to Commanders HQ so you never miss an update. We're in this together, fans, through the highs and the lows. Until next time, stay strong, stay passionate, and, as always, hail to the Commanders.